The recent drop in temperature is encouraging many of us to hunt down our skis at the back of the garage. In the south of Scotland, there's a new attraction on Lowther Hill. It's a tow run by the local ski club. Now, I last visited club members over a year or so ago when there was nothing on the hill, but that's all changed in the last 5 months. Claire White recently met club chairman Angelo Abbialera to see recent developments for herself.
So we're on Lowther Hill. That's one of the highest hills in the south of Scotland. It's 725 metres high. Down the hill we can see the main ski slope, the two ski slopes, and the ski lift, which we just built over the course of the past 5 months. And at the bottom of the hill we can see a temporary structure, which is a porta cabin, which is in place to provide shelter for volunteers until we build the clubhouse, for which we have planning permission.
Now, Out of Doors was here over a year ago now, Angelo, just as there were posts in the ground and you were starting out in this project. Just recap for us what you've begun here and how it's developed in the last year.
1 year ago, that was in September, I think, Mark came to visit us. At the time there was nothing on the hill. Over the next months we got the planning permission and we started building the first pylons of the ski tow. And we prepared for a very successful first winter of operations. Last winter we had 20 days of skiing and everybody was happy and nobody could believe it.
So the unique thing about this facility, Angelo, is not only that it's in the south of Scotland, but also it's community owned. Just tell us about that. How does it work?
Basically you're run by volunteers, so you don't have staff costs. Also the facilities are perhaps not state of the art, they're not up to Swiss or Scandinavian standards, but they provide a valuable service to the community. They do the job, they take you up the hill.
I mean, for example, we're standing right by the engine room here, Andrew, which is like, to all intents and purposes, it's a bit like a garden shed. And then inside, you've obviously done a lot of the joinery work to make it a functioning tow.
As a matter of fact, it was my garden shed. so that's an example. That's a building that has been donated by someone. The paint for this building has been donated. The engine that is inside that powers the tow, we got that, for example, from a local grant from the wind farm. So if you put together the amount of hours of all the volunteers that are given to this and all the donations in kind, in skills, in materials, building materials, when you put all that together, so this is happening. That's the result.
In practice then, how many people did you have on the slopes in the past year of operation?
Last year we were focusing mainly, you can see it from here in the distance, the village of Lead Hills. There's a beautiful golf course there, and that's where we run the nursery area for beginners. And last year we were focusing operations there. On a busy weekend we have up to 100 people. We are very conscious about not wanting to overcrowd the slopes and not wanting to overcrowd the village. That's why we work as a ski club, so we have control over how many people we can accommodate.
What's it like for you personally to run something like this? Because it just strikes me as this massive time commitment and this massive kind of long-range project.
Mm-hmm. Last night we were up to 2 o'clock working in my kitchen with Kath and Des, planning the layout of the cables that were putting today on the ground.
They're just over there, aren't they?
Yes.
Just preparing to go down the hill and lay the cables. Tell us about what's happening.
Today we're going to lay 475 metres of cable and put in some emergency stops.
What drives you?
Last winter, when you saw all the local children that you know, your own daughter and your own son having so much fun on the slopes, so that's when you say all this work was worth it.
Since this started, have other people come up to you and said, hey, this is amazing, I think I would like to try something similar?
That's a very good question, because what we're doing here is certainly new in Scotland. But as I say, it's not new in other parts of the world. There's in New Zealand, they've got about 20 ski centres. I think that only 6 or 8 of them are commercial. The other ones are ski clubs. Yes, just like what we've got here. Scotland is an alpine country. I think that over the next years, I want to believe that over the next years, we'll see initiatives like the Lowther Hills Ski Club coming in other parts of the Highlands, where perhaps a commercial venture like Glenshee, Cairngorms is not viable, but something like this certainly it is. Lowther Hill has had a tradition of skiing over the past almost 100 years, and before that we have the curling that goes back to the 1700s. So you can trace a history of winter sports in this area back to 200-300 years. And since the 1920s, there's always been someone running a tow. And I thought, well, it just needs to happen. We need to do it on a permanent basis.
And how big do you want this to get?
This will get as big as the community wants it to get.
Well, I'm Kath Holt. I started off here as a volunteer in November last year. I'm on the committee now, and I travel over from Edinburgh with my partner Des to come and help out over doing lots of things, lots of kind of paperwork, but also lots of, building the pylons. I was here at the first work party when we put the pylons up. So that's quite exciting.
And what are your hopes for this season?
Oh, snow. That's what we really, really need. We need lots and lots of snow, because as soon as there's snow, people find a way to get up here. Even when the lift wasn't running, people were walking up here with their skis on their back and getting up and enjoying the snow when there was a bit around. So just really hope we have a decent season. I think just the community side of it is really, really important, because it actually, when you see kids who've never skied before and within a few weeks, they're great on skis, and you think, wow, this is something special. To have this facility here in the south of Scotland is just amazing.
David Warnock.
What attracted you to this project?
It's the fact that I like skiing and I like to sound that all my family have said the same thing. It's good that you're getting into something and you're going to be at the birth of this club. I mean, for whatever it turns out to be in the future, you can always say you were there at the start when the kind of founder members.
What kind of a difference has this made to Warnock Head and the surrounding villages?
I think it's made quite a difference. I mean, I don't actually come from here. I actually come from East Kilbride, but from what I can gather, it seems to be quite an interesting project. There's always the same few people that are coming down to do the work, but according to what everybody else says, there's plenty of people that's interested, and it seems to be creating quite a stir in the area.
David Warnock, Kath Holt and Angel Abalera there. Good on them.
Yeah, brilliant. If you go into the Facebook page, I'm talking about Facebook a lot this morning, but there's some brilliant stuff on it. Claire's pictures of the way they power the tow is just amazing. If you get a chance, have a look.